Once again, the halo saves another life.
The stewards were thinking or what they were drinking.
It's a highly modified tractor.
Alonso is a rookie, so we can't compare it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chasing the Flag podcast. Here we are after the Miami GP. And was this the best racing action, Kailash, so far?
So far, maybe. And this came right after the FIA regulations on the battery deployment. This is to be noted that maybe we have found this kind of a sweet spot for battery deployment and super clipping while still retaining some good action. So yeah, it could be, I think, the best race so far.
I mean, firstly, to start it off, what improvement by McLaren, topping the sprint qualifying and as well the sprint race. That was just extraordinary from them.
Yeah, and we heard Andrea Stella say before the race, before the weekend started in the interviews, he said McLaren, this is gonna be like 2024. They've made some crazy development, and this 1 month of break that we had now really shows that they could catch up to the competitors. And in the sprint, we see Norris and Piastri taking a 1-2 and gapping Leclerc by around 6 seconds, and then followed by Russell, Verstappen, and Antonelli. But that was a shock. I was gonna say Mercedes probably would have won that sprint, but no, McLaren came out on top. What do you think of Ferrari instead? Their Macarena wing and Red Bull copying the homework and actually doing it better, I think. But sure.
Yeah, well, Ferrari. It's tough to say, especially after the weekend that we had. The Macarena worked, but I think not quite as we expected. I think we expected a way faster way, especially on the straights, compared to the Red Bulls one. That kind of is a different one, but they're way faster, which is a big problem because Ferrari was losing a bunch of time on the straights, and that costed them definitely the podium in the main race, and also better results in the sprint, which they need to be fixed. They're gonna bring some upgrades in the future, but so far I'm not happy with the results.
Remember, the Ferrari engine is about 30 horsepower less than the Mercedes engine. And this includes, of course, McLaren and Mercedes at the front of the grid. And yeah, you're right about saying that even with this new wing, Ferrari couldn't really catch up to the Mercedes powered cars on the straight, which is kind of sad to see. But the Red Bull's gap in that DRS, or in the rear wing, sorry, rotating rear wing, but you had a giant gap there, while other cars had a normal opening. You know, when the rear wing opens, there was a normal opening. Ferrari maybe a little bit bigger than usual, just because they had a rotating wing. Red Bull's is huge; it's massive, and people are complaining like, "Oh my god, it's too big. They gotta regulate that, and they're going too fast." No, there's no regulations on that this year, so they built a giant gap in the in the rear wing, and they're getting a lot of speed as well.
Yeah, exactly as you said. Red Bull is really, really fast, and we've seen that with Max Verstappen. And the upgrades that they brought is just on top of the world. But on the other hand, not really good for Isaac Hadjar because, as we've seen, crashed in the main race, and the performance kind of went down. Do you think it's especially because of the upgrades?
Nah, I think it's because of the special livery. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The upgrades definitely help. Maybe upgrades, maybe downgrades. Um, Probably more upgrades than downgrades, but I think it's just because the rest of the field um upgraded so much compared to Racing Bulls and maybe the midfield as well that even with a few upgrades going in for Racing Bulls, it doesn't show very much. The gap to the front runners is just a bit too big, at least as of now.
Racing Bulls upgraded delivery as well, bro.
Okay, true. Yeah,
But
that's a
also
fair
another
point.
yeah, also another performance, Liam Lawson crashing out Pierre Gasly and then retiring in the main race. That not a good result.
On the same lap, also,
Yeah.
Hadjar crashing at the chicane just before the back straight, clipped the inside the wall and jumped over the curb and straight into the wall. His mistake, honestly. And then we had a crash similar to Bahrain 2014. Reminded me of Maldonado and Gutierrez in turn one. Gasly's car flipped over, did essentially a barrel roll, um, or not a barrel roll. What's it called? Like a side flip, I guess,
Yeah,
and
like
ended up
Rocket League side flip.
exactly Rocket League side flip, and ended up in the barriers. Once again, the Halo saves another life. The Halo and roll
Exactly.
hoop working together, that would have been bad without a Halo, in my opinion.
Just the fact that he walked away with like no any problems is pretty impressive, especially as you said, towards the Halo, that how much it saved the drivers, and it's really good.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about that last lap. The last lap of the Miami Grand Prix, absolute chaos. We had Russell battling Verstappen. Russell had a damaged front wing. This is to be noted as well. Leclerc was defending essentially both of them for a while, and then he got a good gap ahead until Verstappen, I believe, caught up.
Yes.
And yeah, what happened at the end? Tell us a story.
The end was crazy. I mean, Leclerc clipped, he had a mega save as well as Max towards the final lap, and he kind of clipped the wall that damaged him the suspension towards, I think, the left side of the car, and therefore he just lost a bunch of time, and at the end he just lost both positions, which is absolutely depressing. I mean, for the effort that he did, I mean, driving that Ferrari, and he had the P3, literally had the P3 in his hands, and then he gets overtaken by both of them on the final lap. And then also 20-second penalty, which is, I think, totally unacceptable. 20 seconds. I don't know what the stewards were thinking or what they were drinking. And just Max gets a 5-second penalty for crossing the white line. And
Had to
honestly, I
pit
would give
exit,
also
yeah.
Max. Yeah, exactly. And I would also give Max uh, at least a black and white flag, because that driving, I mean, it wasn't very clean.
Yeah, Verstappen was very aggressive this whole Grand Prix, starting from, as you said, the 360 at the start, then banging wheels with other drivers as well. Now, Leclerc's 20-second penalty, very controversial because he damaged the suspension. He could not turn the car as easily as, you know, with a normal suspension, of course. He had to cut a bunch of corners to make it to the finish line, essentially, while almost staying on track. But by cutting the corners, the FA was like, "Oh my god, this guy's gaining time. He's cutting every single corner. Let's give him a 20-second penalty." But no, in the end, he actually got overtaken on track by Russell and Verstappen. He lost the how many seconds gap was it? Something like 10,
It was over,
15.
yeah, 10 seconds.
It was a huge gap, and he lost all of that gap in one lap, got overtaken on track, and the FIA still decided that he was, gaining time, I guess, outside the track or unnecessarily cutting corners. But I don't know. 20 seconds is a little bit excessive, in my opinion.
I think as well. I think it's way over the the thing or the penalty that should be given. Considering Leclerc literally brought that car to the finish line, which is absolutely spectacular and impressive, because in that state, I mean, it's really, really tough to drive that car. And we've seen it also on the final corner towards when you turn basically to the right side, the car just kept going straight. So Leclerc had it really tough to control that car, and giving it 20 seconds, yeah, it's just too much. And it's kind of killing the sport, because I think Leclerc is one of the drivers that can fight fairly and just gives out everything from the car. And to penalize the driver like this, it's kind of unfair in my opinion. Compared to Verstappen, for example, who was driving, as you said, dirty the whole weekend. And yeah, we saw it especially in turn one. Uh, Leclerc schooled both of them, Antonelli and Verstappen, both of them locking up, and Leclerc just went past through.
Yeah, exactly. So Leclerc's brilliant driving even in a kind of a tractor. I wouldn't call it a tractor this year, but it's an upgraded tractor. It's a highly modified tractor. It's still not at the level of Mercedes and, McLaren, but it's getting there. Like Ferrari, I think in the performance is close to second, but it's still third.
Yeah.
And
Similar,
yeah, sorry.
similar to Franco Colapinto, who drove a P7, which is pretty impressive, I must say.
Absolutely. Of course, getting helped by Leclerc's penalty, but sure, he was in the points on track, which was really cool to see an Alpine going fast for once. Gasly, unfortunately, had that crash, but Colapinto delivered a pretty good drive. And P7 is not bad at all, coming right behind Lewis Hamilton in P6. Also, kind of nowhere to be seen this Grand Prix. P6 on track was P7. What is happening with Hamilton? We were expecting big things this weekend, but nothing major happened.
The bring Sainz back. I said already before he came to Ferrari, I think Sainz should be the Ferrari driver, but it is what it is. I mean, yeah, as you said, nowhere to be seen, honestly. I didn't see him throughout the race as well. And P6, we can say it's an average result, or we can say it's better than Leclerc, but Leclerc had a 20-second penalty and Leclerc was fighting generally for a podium. So I mean, Hamilton just has to improve, in my opinion. And if he is not going to perform better, then I think he should leave. I mean, also the age, he's in his 40s. So, I mean, time will tell.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, whether you like Hamilton or not, just to everybody, um, seeing Hamilton leave the sport, I think we're not ready for it. It's like he's been so influential and so brilliant. He's changed the sport so much, over since what, 2007, 19 years, maybe 20 next year, hopefully. But the community is not ready to see him leave. And I think he's going to stay at possibly a few more years. Next year is going to be the deciding year, I believe. If Ferrari doesn't get it together by next year, he's going to leave by the end of next year. Otherwise, he might stay 2028, 2029.
I mean, the things that he's done for the sport, we got to give credit. That's for sure. I completely agree with you. But I mean, if it's time to go, he has to go. I mean, as I said, if the results aren't going to be there, just leave me. Like, he's not worth it for Ferrari. He's not worth it for the fans. So we'll see, especially in the next season. And yeah, I mean, I would want Sainz back, honestly. Again, great performance, P9 in a Williams like that. But yeah, we'll see.
Breaking news. Ben Sulayem. The FA director said he's going to bring back V8s by 2030. So do you think Hamilton, who's driven in that era as well, could stay until 2030? It's a long stretch. It's 4 years, 3.5 years. No, okay.
No, no.
Straight up no.
I don't see it as an option, especially in Ferrari.
Yeah.
Maybe if he would drive like it maybe I mean Alonso's a rookie, so we can't compare him to that. Uh
True.
although it's gonna be very interesting if they actually bring the V8s, which I mean it's okay if he said it, but let's see if it actually happens. But if it would actually happen, at least something positive would come back into F1.
He said it with his own words that he's going to bring the V8s back and minimal electrical power coming from those cars. Remember, the regulation changes are set for 2031, but he's going to try to bring it by 2030, he said. And if it doesn't happen by 2030, he's going to push for 2031 as well. Now, minimal electrical power in V8s is Formula One back? 5 years, but it could be back.
Hopefully it's gonna be back. And what's gonna be back is also the Canadian Grand Prix. So, what are your predictions for the Montreal Grand Prix, or Canadian Grand Prix? Sorry.
Short lap, lots of high speed sections. I'm gonna go for an Oscar Piastri win. Antonelli, 3 races in a row. I think this is the end of his streak. He's brilliant, but I think he's gonna get P2. I think Piastri's gonna get this Montreal Grand Prix.
Okay.
How about you?
Interesting. I'm gonna say the guy who's been in the shades of Kimi Antonelli. I think Russell's gonna get this one.
Getting the championship battle back on.
Yeah, he has to. And I'm gonna say it's gonna be tight. So let's say Kimi P2, and let's draw Max Verstappen P3.
Ooh, Verstappen P3.
Okay.
Interesting. Very interesting. That's it for the Miami Grand Prix. And make sure to follow us on Instagram at chasingtheflag_F1. We're also on Apple Podcasts, remember that. And soon we'll be on YouTube as well. So make sure not to miss an episode. We're on basically every major platform right now. And yeah, we'll see you next week in 3 weeks essentially for the Montreal Grand Prix. Thank you for tuning in again, and see you next time.
Bye
everybody.